art. And on the home decor front tonight, we're talking about furniture that could really be described as works of art, and to tell us all about it, I'm joined once again by Stephen Dunne. Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Martina.
Now, recently, Stephen, there was an auction of Yves Saint Laurent's personal home pieces, and an Eileen grey armchair sold for almost €22 million. So that just sounds to me like a world gone mad.
Well, it's absurd, especially in today's current financial climate. I mean, if somebody can spend almost €22 million on a chair, it's the highest price ever paid for a piece of 20th century furniture.
And why?
And this is the famous piece. It's called the Dragon Chair, or the other name for it is a small brown armchair. It is actually quite small, and it's got very ornate timber pieces here. The photograph isn't a great quality. It's off the newspaper. As you can see, the auction guy working there, his hands are holding the piece. Nice. But anyway, it's an amazing piece of furniture. It was Yves Saint Laurent, as you said, and it just went on auction last week in Paris, and it just took the world by storm, really.
And from the period of around 1917 to 1919?
1917 to 1919 was the time she would have designed it and had it made. She was very taken by lacquered timber at the time, and a lot of her pieces from that period on started to introduce timber, moulded and carved and lacquered. So that's why you have this sweeping tusk of wood.
Do we know if she would have made a lot of these, or was this purely a one-off, and that's why?
Well, Eileen Gray is quite a fascinating character. She was born in Wexford, into a very aristocratic family. She went off to Paris to study art, and on a trip to London, she happened upon, one day while she was out strolling shopping, she happened upon a small little shop that specialised in repairing furniture, and they had a guy there who worked on lacquered pieces of furniture, and she had never known about it before this, and she went back to Paris with great ideas and started to introduce it into her pieces of furniture. So that's the famous piece of furniture that Eileen Gray designed and had produced back in the early half of the 20th century, and
I think it's mad.
I think she will be spinning cartwheels in her grave, I think, if she thought it was making that kind of money, but there you go.
She'd be wishing she was around.
Exactly.
And I believe as well, according to my research, the successful bidder was the same dealer that had actually originally sold it to Yves Saint Laurent, so
very good,
she must be thinking it's going to go up in price even more than that.
Yeah, well, you see, at that level of money and finance, I mean,
yes.
The sky's the limit.
This is an Eileen Gray piece.
This is an Eileen Gray table. It is simply called the table. She designed it for one of her summer retreat houses outside of Paris as a bedside table. And nowadays, what I find fascinating about it is that this was produced in 1921, and even now, today, in 2009, it's still considered a modern-looking piece of furniture, and it fits into most situations that you would be redesigning or designing from scratch. It's made of steel with a chrome coating and a toughened glass top, and it's actually adjustable, so you can bring it to different heights. So if your arm of your couch is a certain height, you can bring it to that height.
So it's great. She thought of everything.
So that's that piece.
Have they been copied?
Yes, the thing with these iconic pieces is that originally if you have an original piece, you're absolutely made. But companies will have bought the rights to reproduce the pieces, and there will be a stamp on the pieces to tell you that they're authentic. There are rip-offs, and there are companies in countries like Thailand and China where the copyright laws aren't there, basically, and they're reproducing it as well, but the quality wouldn't be great.
Okay, and do you think that maybe some people watching, perhaps, they have some pieces like that in their homes, and
that's what sparked my topic for this week. I mean, when you see that kind of chair going for that kind of money, I mean, how many people are sitting on these things and don't really know what the value of them are?
So have a really careful look at your furniture, just in case, you know.
Absolutely.
There's the Eames lounge chair and ottoman, which is also significant in terms of iconic furniture.
It's a beautiful piece of furniture. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. It's a moulded timber base and a leather seat and top to it. This people will probably say, I've seen that before. Well, yes, they have, because they've seen it on the programme Frasier. It's actually sitting on the set of Frasier, and a lot of these pieces have been used throughout TV history as well. So you get to see them. This is a 1956 piece, and again, it's still lasting the test of time. It's quite nice. So yeah, the Eames chairs is definitely one.
I think
that's very popular.
It's part of the permanent collection in New York's Museum of Art. We also have the Barcelona chair.
The Barcelona chair is very popular, and it's very commonly seen. You see it a lot in hotel lobbies, bank buildings, office waiting rooms, all that kind of thing. Again, it's a chrome base, very simply designed. It's like a sweeping X frame, and it has the leather seated and back to it, and that's a 1929 piece.
Yes.
So that's actually very old as well, but like if you look at it, it's quite modern.
Yeah, I think it was designed for the World Exposition in Barcelona at the time.
It was designed for the King and Queen of Spain to be seated on for the exhibition by a designer called Miss Sandro.
So ordinary bones got to sit on that.
Originally, no. So can you imagine what the original pieces that the King and Queen sat on would go for in an auction today? But that's a beautiful piece.
And this one, it's kind of reminding me a little bit of what we're sitting on, but maybe I'm just wishful thinking here.
No, you're actually right. This is Le Corbusier, and he was an architect. And this piece is from 1928. But you can actually tell that he was an architect because his pieces are quite structured, they're quite sharp, and what brought his furniture pieces to prominence was the fact that he put the frame on the outside and put the cushioning and the seating inside, so the frame is visible.
Yes.
Traditionally, frames were actually covered by the upholstery.
Okay, so that's part of the design.
So that's that.
I believe the Swiss were so proud of him and that particular design that they used it as an image on their postage stamps.
That's right, yes they did.
Now finally, Stephen, and I know we're running out of time, so you might answer this one for us fairly quickly. We're getting away from the iconic pieces and moving to the everyday objects because we have a viewer's query. It's from Jackie. Hello Jackie. She says her three-piece suite is looking a little worn over the years. She's about to buy a new suite, she thinks. Her old suite though has a lot of character. It has sentimental value because it used to belong to her parents. But it is looking a little bit dated. Now she's got a spare room that the wall is used for playing in. She's thinking of putting it in there, but before she does that, makes that ultimate step, she's wondering, is she doing the right thing? Because maybe she can save the old suite, get it upholstered and get a cheap new one for the boys' room. It's all very complicated. She wants your advice though, really. If she gets it upholstered, would it be expensive? What do you think she should do?
Well, generally at the moment, it's going to cost her as much to reupholster it as it is to buy a new suite. But if she really loves it, if it has sentimental value, I would recommend that she goes and gets it recovered. She doesn't have to spend a fortune. The fabric will cost quite a lot anyway, but then having it upholstered. I don't know the shape and the design of the couch, so I don't know how intricate the upholstery will need to be. But if she's that passionate about the piece, I would recommend she gets it reupholstered and put it into the boys' room.
Yeah.
They're going to wreck it anyway, so she might as well get the last few years out of it.
Yeah, well, I think if she reupholsters it, she's going to leave it where she is and gets a cheap suite for the boys' room. So I think that's probably the best case scenario, because she'll regret it if she just lets it get wrecked or throws it out or anything.
Yes.
Okay, I hope we've solved the problem, Jackie. Thanks very much, Stephen. And any queries to Stephen, of course, can be sent to our usual email address, which is info@channelsouth.ie, and also directly to Stephen.
Inquiries@stephendunne.ie.
Perfect. Now, meanwhile, Jerry Owens is back with us here next week for some financial advice. Now, we're in Limerick, and up next we meet the businessman with a scheme in place to help educational needs in the city.